Have you ever looked at a Windows computer and thought, I have no idea what is going on? Then this video is for you. By the end of the video, you'll learn to confidently open apps, find files, and shut down your computer the right way. I'll show you exactly where to click nice and slowly. You don't need any computer experience at all. This video is for total beginners. Kids, parents, grandparents, anyone who's new to computers. There are no stupid questions here. No mistakes, only happy accidents. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments section, and hopefully I or someone else in the YouTube community can help you out. Now let's learn about Windows 11. We'll go step by step, and I'll go slowly so there's no confusion about what's going on. First of all, we're going to revise some basic terms, so we know we're all starting on the same page. We're going to define computers, Windows, and apps. It's good to know this stuff, but if you already do, feel free to skip ahead. A computer is a device that performs computations. This might be a calculator, a thermostat remote control, or a smartphone. In our case, we're talking about a desktop or laptop computer. A desktop computer is a large box designed to fit on or under a desk. It has external devices like a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. It must be connected by a power cable to a wall socket to operate. A laptop is smaller, designed to fit in your lap. They have built-in monitors and keyboards and often have a built-in trackpad to replace the functionality of a mouse. Because they have internal batteries, they can be charged at a wall socket and then used on the go. Windows is the operating system of your computer. It is software that runs the computer and allows you, the human user, to control the computer using a mouse and keyboard. Windows has a graphical user interface with pictures and icons that make it easy for someone in the know to install new apps and run them on a Windows computer. App stands for application. An application is a program. Almost everything a computer can do is the result of a program running on the computer. Apps can do a lot of things. They can let you browse the internet, write a document, watch your favorite streaming service, or play a video game. Your computer probably came with a lot of apps, but you can always buy more or get free ones using the internet. So how does this all fit together? A human user interacts with apps. Windows provides those apps with access to the computer's hardware so they can do things like calculations and saving data to the memory. In this sense, Windows is a middleman between the software, i.e. the apps, and the hardware, i.e. the computer. So now we know those things, we're ready to look at how to use Windows 11. When you turn on your computer and sign in, you will arrive at the desktop. This is your workspace in Windows. The desktop has a background image and these small pictures with titles underneath them, which are called icons. Icons are shortcuts to apps or files. At the bottom of the screen is the taskbar. The taskbar also contains icons as well as some other useful features. You interact with the desktop by moving the mouse and clicking the buttons. Or if you're on a laptop, you'll drag your finger across the trackpad and click on it. The arrow on the screen that you control with your mouse and trackpad movements is called the mouse cursor or pointer. You can move the mouse cursor over various things on the screen and click in various ways to open and control apps, view or edit files, and more. A left click, also just called a click, means that you press the left mouse button once or press with one finger on the trackpad. You should press and release rapidly. If you hold it, then the computer won't recognize it as a click. A double click means you click the left mouse button twice, fairly rapidly in succession. If you're on a laptop, you rapidly click twice on the trackpad with one finger. A right click means you click the right mouse button once. On a trackpad, you can simulate a right click by pressing once with two fingers. If you right click on an empty space on the desktop, it opens a menu that allows you to select from various options, such as creating files and folders or accessing your display settings. You can either select one of these options with a left click or left click anywhere else on the desktop to get rid of the menu. Each icon on your desktop is a shortcut to an app, file, or folder. You can select an icon using a left click, or you can open the resource it points to by double clicking on it. For example, if you double click an app icon, you'll open the app. If you double click a file, then Windows attempts to open the file using whatever app it thinks is most suitable. Right-clicking an icon brings up a menu. You can select an option with a click, or click outside the menu to close it. The bar at the bottom of the screen is called the Taskbar. It shows widgets down here on the bottom left, the Start button over here that looks like the Windows logo, a search bar, frequently used apps, and apps that are currently open. On the right is the system tray, which shows things like the power and the volume controls. You can interact with these by clicking, double-clicking, or right-clicking on them. The Windows Start menu is to the left of the search bar in the taskbar. It looks like the Windows logo. You can open it by clicking on it or by hitting the Windows key on your keyboard. At the top of the Start menu is a search bar. This is your best friend. If you type here, you can search for files, apps, or folders on your computer, as well as results from the internet. Click any of these to open them. If you don't know where something is, click Start and type to search. I'll show you. Let's click on the search bar and search for calculator. C-A-L, there it is, the calculator app. Back to the Start menu. Beneath the search bar are pinned apps, recommended apps, your power settings, your Microsoft profile, and over here to the right is some more advanced settings about accessing your mobile device from your PC. The taskbar also contains a search bar that operates much the same as the one in the Start menu. If you type here, you can search for files, apps, and folders, as well as search results from the internet. You can click any of them to open them. I'll look for Notepad. Oh, yes. There it is. On the right side of the taskbar is the system tray. This contains things like the clock, the power icon, the sound controls, and my internet connection. Left click them to open them if you need to adjust anything. For instance, clicking on the sound control allows you to adjust your volume. Although they're hidden, the system tray also contains icons for many of your running programs. This arrow pointing upwards. You can open any of these by double clicking them. Okay, so I keep hovering over the icons and I'm actually clicking on them to open the apps. I will now show you how to open an app. So how do you open an app? The quickest way, apart from the icons on the desktop, is often using either the Start menu or the search bar. We'll search for Notepad in the Start menu. N-O-T-E in the search bar. There it is. So a left click and we've got Notepad open. I can write text files. And so on. Now say we want to open calculator as well. We click the Start menu, click the search bar, type CALC, and left click calculator. Great. Now we have two apps open. There are a few ways that we can switch between apps. The first is just by clicking the title bar at the top of their windows. So you can see each time I click one, it brings the focus to that window. If I click here, I can type. And if I click here, I type in the calculator. But what if one of the windows were to be covering the other one? How do we get to the hidden window? This is when you can use the taskbar. Some of the icons are shortcuts, but your running apps are also there. Here's Notepad and here's Calculator. Running apps in the taskbar have a line, dash, or dot under their icon. you can click on them to switch to that app. Let's switch to Notepad, switch to Calculator, and it brings it into focus. Another way you can switch between all of your open apps is by holding the Alt key and pressing Tab. This shows all of your open apps, and if you keep holding Alt and clicking the Tab button, you will slowly cycle between them. When you release the Alt key, you will switch to the selected app. So I'll release it on Notepad, and it brings Notepad to the front. The last thing you need to know is how to close an app. In the top right corner of most apps, you should see a small X icon. Click on this to close the app. So I'll click on the title bar to bring the calculator forward, and then I'll left click on the X to close it. Some full screen apps like video games may not have an X icon. These apps are normally closed from a menu option that is specific to that app, like a quit button. Here's another quick tip. If you press this little underline on the title bar of the window, then you minimize it and you make it disappear into the background. So I'll bring it back by pressing here. If I press this square icon, then it maximizes it and makes it take up the entire desktop. And I'll minimize it again. Let's go over files and folders in Windows. Files are just containers with names that store information. This information might be a picture, a text document, or an app. Folders are just containers used to store files. They are like drawers in a filing cabinet. As well as files, folders can also contain other folders. For example, a folder for a game app might contain one folder for game art and another for sound effects. The easiest way to access your file system in Windows is to click the File Explorer icon in your taskbar. It looks like a folder, and when you hover over it with your mouse, it will say File Explorer above. Left click it to open it. This opens File Explorer, which shows quick access on the right. Here we can find pinned, recent, and frequently used files and folders. On the left is the navigation pane, which also contains quick access items and recently used folders. The two folders you are most likely to use as a beginner are the Documents folder, which is here, and the Downloads folder, which is here. They're also in the navigation pane here and here. So let's open Documents. The Documents folder is where you save your own work, like a word processor document or a spreadsheet. The Downloads folder is for saving downloads from the internet, like app installers or other files. You may not have as many items in your Documents folder as I do, because you may have recently only just started using Windows. Let me save this Notepad document that I still have open from earlier. So I'll click on it. There's a menu bar beneath the title bar, and I'll select the file option, and I'll pick Save. And this opens up the Save dialog. You can see at the top here we're in my Documents directory. So I'll give it a name. I'll call it Subscribe Now. That's a good idea, by the way. And I'll press Enter to save. And that saves it for later so that we can go back to it and we don't lose our valuable content. So what if I want to open it again? Well, first of all, I'll close it. And now from the desktop, I can go to File Explorer. I can pick Documents from the quick access bar on the side. And if I scroll down, I can find Subscribe Now. There we go, I've opened it again and I can continue editing it. If you need to turn your computer off, you don't just shut it off at the wall while it's still running. You can actually mess your computer up pretty badly by turning it off at the wrong time, such as during an update or while it's saving a lot of data. It's always best to shut your computer down the right way. First of all, you want to close all of your open programs. So I'll close Notepad and I'll close the File Explorer. And I can check down here and all of my programs are closed. Then I go to the Start menu and I can press this power button. Now I've got a bunch of options. I can pick Shutdown, which will turn off the computer. It'll give me a message and tell me to wait until the computer's completely shut down. When that message disappears and the computer's power is down, it is then safe to unplug it from the wall. I can also restart the computer, which will turn it off and back on again, at which point it will load Windows again. Or I can pick this sleep option. Sleep mode is, it puts your computer into low power state so that it can quickly restart from where you left off. It's not safe to cut the power to your computer when it's in sleep mode. You should use Shutdown instead. So let's see what Shutdown does. My computer's shutting down. You do not turn it off at this point. And it's off. It's now safe to turn it off at the wall and unplug it from the wall. If this helped you, or if you're watching this to help someone else, let me know in the comments. Then I know to do more beginner videos. If you have ideas for other tutorials, drop those in there too. Remember to like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. And ring the bell icon to get notified when I upload similar content. Thank you for watching. It means a lot to me. See you in the next video. Peace out.